What is up, you awesome coasters? It's CistReactZ, guys, and welcome to Game Theory. We were right all along. Fnaf Ultimate Custom Night. So yeah, guys, we got a map pad Game Theory. Let's see what he thinks about Ultimate Custom Night.
Just how to get him. He'll be mine by the end of the day. I just know it. I'll tell him that I've solved the lore of his games and constructed a timeline. And once he's there,
yes, I am drinking
him.
out of a Pizza Hut cup.
Have him, he'll be
Fight
mine
me.
forever. There's
I'm not normal.
One thing
Me, just only me. I'm not normal.
Go wrong.
Yeah, just find me in the comments. Go ahead. I know someone's gonna talk about it. Oh.
How can Mangle be walking around in Fnaf 2 before all the animatronics are possessed? How can Springtrap be experimenting with Remnant when he's sealed in a wall? Answer me! I don't know. That's exactly what I worried might go wrong.
Oh!
No!
Okay.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, getting burned by hippos since 2018.
Not every story has to have significance, you know? Sometimes, sometimes a story is just a story. You try to read into every little thing and find meaning in everything anyone says, you'll just drive yourself crazy.
Oh, God.
Kinda harsh there, Scott. Speaking of stories, last FNAF Theory, I was at the lowest of lows. The survival logbook threw a lot of weird curveballs into the lore that I don't think anyone was really expecting. Reveals like Michael Afton being the bite victim were interesting, but also really difficult to explain away. And that's where things sat until now. With both the release of the final FNAF book, The Fourth Closet,
which is
and
really
what
great.
seems to be the final FNAF game, Super
Hopefully.
FNAF Brothers Ultimate. They're all here. And now, with both these releases, we're finally in a position to see all the puzzle pieces we're working with, which means one last examination of the franchise from top to bottom, starting with Custom Night this week, and then next week stepping back and looking across the entire timeline to see if we can wrap things up in a neat,
this man has like a whole
timeline
photoshopped and put together.
So step through the curtain, Funtime Foxy, because the show's about to start.
Showtime is
It's
on
time
the
for
hour.
me to pull a candy cadet and tell you a story. A story of anger that never dies. A story of never-ending suffering. And I'm not just talking about me trying to write these theories. Today, I tell you the story of how Ultimate Custom Night ends the FNAF franchise in the same place where it all began. As soon as you start playing Custom Night, you can tell that Scott's up to his usual tricks. Yeah, that.
Don't remind me. Just don't.
I mean, Scott has
Everyone knows what I'm
taken a
talking
game
about
that
if you
most of us
watch my
assumed
Ultimate
was just
Custom
a
Night
fun
Part
little
1.
add-on to capstone the series and has used it to deliver a full-on 100% canon addition to the franchise, complete with huge lore reveals mostly hidden in character dialogue once you die, which is pretty nice considering you die a lot in this game. A lot.
A lot.
Oh, yeah. I
You
told
probably
her
died
that
more than
Nightmare
Nightmare
killed me
BB.
at 3 a.m. on purpose. I just really wanted to see what she would say in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Seriously, I'm good at this game. I did it for the lore. I did it for the lore. Through these death lines, you can immediately start piecing together what exactly is going on here. The first set of lines reveals that we're powerless to escape.
You and I will be making music together for a long, long time.
I've never seen his jump scare before, and I'm pretty sure it's scary.
Seeing you
Music Man.
is like music to me.
More voice lines indicate that not only are we trapped here for all eternity, we also can't die. Or maybe more accurately, we can die just over and over and over again.
What a gift to relish, a victim that can't perish. Let's taste death again and again and again.
You won't get tired of dying, will you?
By the way, for those of you who
punch her
don't
in her
have an
face.
encyclopedic knowledge of every element of this franchise, that
We're gonna
Twitch cheat
EMP
line
in
is
the
actually
room.
a fun little callback to one of my favorite moments in the franchise.
I'll rack up
Foxy
that servo of
Fighters,
hers.
Update 1.2 for FNAF World.
You won't
Don't.
get tired
Oh.
of my voice, will you?
So anyway, our character here is kind of screwed, trapped for eternity in a never-ending cycle of torment and death.
That was just more annoying.
It's pretty obvious what's going on here, but I think Jacko Chica really sums up the situation best.
The fire within me burns eternal, and now you shall as well.
That's right. We're trapped in heck.
In heck.
Double hockey sticks. Or toothpicks, like my family always said, since we valued proper capitalization. And from there, it's just a hop, skip, and a
HE
karmic
double
jump away from who we're
toothpicks.
playing as. None other than Springtrap himself, William Afton. Not only does a one-way ticket to hell follow up on the advice Henry gave us from Fnaf 6.
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole.
Burn.
Don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
But more voice lines in Custom Night confirm our relationship to each of these characters.
We know who our friends are, and you are not one of them.
This is a callback to FNAF 4's We're Still Your Friends, Do You Still Believe That? But twisted on its head. If our character were someone like, say, Michael Afton,
Twisted on its head?
The crying child, aka another character who can't die, single us out as not his friend.
You're good.
He's not an enemy to Michael because Michael never did anything to hurt him.
I am the fearful reflection of what you have created.
William Afton killed Henry's daughter, who goes on to become the puppet. Nightmare On here is the dark reflection of the puppet, thereby confirming that we're playing as William Afton. Even Ballora offers some clues that we're playing as William.
Admit it.
How?
You wanted to let me in.
Ballora's song and sister location was all about William hiding behind walls in the aftermath of his child's death, which left an empty room and an empty tomb in his life.
All I see is
yeah.
empty room. No more joy, an empty tomb.
He shut everyone else out, but now that we're in William's personal hell, she's able to call him out for all his hidden feelings. William wanted to let the woman that Ballora represents in, but he just couldn't do it thanks to his grief, hence her calling him out for his real desires. You wanted to let me in. So we're a murderer trapped in a personal hell of our own creation, forced to deal with the sins of our past for all eternity. Sound familiar? It should. It was my first ever FNAF theory. No joke. Way back in episode 1 of the FNAF series, I predicted it was a game about someone trapped in purgatory, tormented by their crimes for all eternity. Granted, the series had only just begun and the theory tied everything back to a real-life string of murders, but it's actually really awesome to think that we've come full
he did
circle.
talk about, like,
that, from a theory standpoint at least, these videos have circled back around to where it all began. It's poetic. A beautiful, horrific, child-murdery bookend of a story.
All those
so thanks,
freaking
Scott.
theories.
I have no doubt that you structured your franchise's final send-off that way just so I could have an I told you so moment at the very end after years of getting thwarted by your twisting story. It's very nice of you to throw me a bone. Might as well call me Mangle. More on that next week. But of course, it wouldn't be
more on that
things
next
were just
week.
That simple. No, it's not good enough for William to be held in a perpetual
serious?
state of agony. There's something keeping us here. Looking through all the voice lines, there's
probably
one other
is.
entity that's mentioned over and over again. The one you should not have killed.
I am
one you should
remade,
not have killed.
But not by you, by the one you should not have killed.
Greetings from the fire, and from the one you should not have killed.
Excuse me, what? The one I shouldn't have killed? You
That's
mean
Golden, Freddy.
Voldemort? Oh, sorry. Got him confused with you must not be
yeah.
named. But seriously, the one I
He
shouldn't
who
have killed
shall
in a
not be
franchise
named.
piled high with underage bodies. Okay, yeah, sure. All those other kids, nah, they deserved it. But that one right there,
Yeah.
yep, shouldn't have touched him. Now you're damned for all eternity. Sucks to be you. Anyway, this
Yeah,
is the
he's
big
the only one who
mystery
knows
of
the
game.
word
Who are
revenge
they
at his
talking
age.
about? Well, by picking apart clues from
So
all
yeah,
sorts
the
of
one you
different
shouldn't have
locations,
killed,
we
the
can
one who
start piecing
actually was
together
too
who
smart
this
for his
one
age.
who must stay vague for lore purposes actually is. First, from the rest of the voice lines, we can identify that this character is a male.
I have seen him, the one you shouldn't have killed. He's here and always watching, the one you shouldn't have killed.
Notice how both of them use the pronouns he and him. We also know that this guy specifically has a vendetta against us. To understand that, we have to turn our attention to the true stars of Ultimate Custom Night, the Mediocre Melodies. Without question, this crew of duct-crawling rejects steal the spotlight in Ultimate Custom Night. Going from WTF are these guys doing here in
Well, yeah,
FNAF
'cause
6
they're the
to
possessed
breakout
ones.
meme stars in
Okay,
Custom
I can
Night,
see why.
Orville Elephant and the gang
gonna
not
talk about
only
how they're
provide
possessed.
important life lessons.
He proceeded to pour me a glass of just ice-cold lemonade. Ooh, you ever mix it with iced tea?
No.
Do like a little half lemonade, half... Ooh, it's so... You should try it some. Well, you can't because you're dead.
They also
Well, you can't
deliver
because you're
on
dead.
huge lore reveals. For the most part, their lines are pretty disposable, but very rarely you'll get a line from them that feels just a bit out of character.
Well, to the
We've
rest of
only
your death.
just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest. Wazoo! Ninja skills!
And if you listen
Wazoo!
closely, you'll hear a female voice echoing back what they're saying, almost as if they're puppets under someone else's control.
This is how it feels.
Ned
You
Bear.
get to experience it over and over. and over again.
I mean, just look at their jump scare.
Forever.
They're tweaked
I will
out.
never let you leave.
His eyes
Now,
are even
this voice
just...
could be Baby. Not only does she sound similar,
I guess you forgot about me.
but a clue may also come from the merch. The fun
The merch?
action figurines of the characters from FNAF 6 all contain one piece of scrap baby. Collect all the figurines, collect all the pieces to form the character. Which might seem like just a random detail until you consider that they did the same thing with
snap.
every character in Sister Location, who would then go on to form Ennard. Each one
Ennard.
contained a piece that helped to create what would eventually form the larger whole. Just like Ennard himself, a bunch of the other animatronics all rolled into one entity. This is especially important when you consider that a key reveal from the final FNAF novel, The Fourth Closet, is that William Afton created the living Sister Location Funtime animatronics by extracting remnant from the melted conglomeration of all the OG animatronics and injecting the new robots with it. Thus, all the new robots were alive and sharing a piece of the same set of souls, just like if the pieces of Baby/Ennard had been repurposed to form Happy Frog and her
I
friend.
must have
That's
not
why
caught
Baby's
that or
voice would be
remembered
heard
that.
across all of them.
I swear I
That
read
makes
that
sense?
book.
Good. Now throw it away because there's another
have forgot it.
explanation here. That this is the voice of the one you should not have killed. As you can tell at this point, Ultimate Custom Night had a huge amount of voice acting. And the nice thing about
Lots.
voice acting is that you need to hire, you know, actors,
The
which
right
means
ones.
job postings. So of course,
Not
for
saying
this
the voice
game,
actors were
Scott
bad.
needed to make a
Should
ton
probably
of
throw that in there
casting
before I get hate in the
calls on
comments.
site
They're not bad.
voices.com,
Just saying,
all
gotta always
identifying
get the right
roles
voice
that the
actors.
actors would be playing. Some of the roles were obvious: Nightmare Balloon Boy, Pig Patch, Withered Chica, etc., etc. All characters that we're familiar with. Other
Withered
casting
Chica's the
calls,
most
though,
weirdest,
were
man.
a bit more vague. Monster, character in Whisper, little
in
girl,
Whisper, little
annoying girl, vengeful spirit. Now, if you track all of the job postings, you can actually identify every single
tagged
role
them
by
as
who
that.
plays them. Monster is Jacko Chica. Character in Whisper is Trash in the Gang. Little girl is the puppet. Annoying girl is Dee Dee. Scott kept them vague so as not to ruin any surprises. You can actually identify each and every role, except for one. Vengeful Spirit.
Vengeful
played
Spirit?
by Tabitha Skanes. It's the only one that doesn't match up to any explicit character in the game. But we know for a fact it exists since Scott himself left Tabitha an excellent review. 5 stars.
An
Well done,
excellent?
Tabitha. So what is the Vengeful Spirit? Well, according to the casting call, quote, "This is for the voice of a young child who speaks in a whisper from the shadows." That sounds a lot like the voice that's whispering in the background of our merry band of rejects. This child is in control and is toying with the player who's helpless to change their situation or prevent their inevitable end. Yeah, well, being trapped
How
in
did I not
double
see
hockey
this?
sticks will do that to you.
How did I
The
not see
gender
this
should not be
voice?
immediately
I always
clear.
heard everyone
It
talking
could
about
work
this
as
voice
either a young boy
actor
or
freaking
a
website,
young
but I never
girl, and you're
could find
welcome through
information on
readings
it.
leaning one way or another. Ding, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we have our winner. A puppeteer that's manipulating things from the shadows. A spirit who's out for revenge. A spirit who just so happens to occasionally show its face during game over screens. Yes, that creepy image of a face that's been haunting thumbnails of Ultimate Custom Night, that is
Fusion
the
Z Gamers.
face of our vengeful spirit. A spirit who, based on its last line, has an axe to grind and intends to enact revenge by keeping us tormented for all eternity.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here. No matter how many times they burn us.
He tried to release you, but
One of
I'm
my
not going to let
favorite
that happen.
canon
I will
story
hold you here.
acting
Yikes! Somebody's
lines.
got to get themselves a new hobby. But this is an important line since by now many of you have probably seen the Old Man Consequences Easter egg. If you set the character Old Man Consequences to level 1 difficulty and then complete his minigame, you get taken through a glitch to Old Man Consequences Pond, a character from FNAF World who encourages the spirit to, quote, leave the demon to his demons.
Rest your own soul. There is nothing
There's
else.
nothing else. He's encouraging the angry spirit to finally rest, to give it up, to move on, instead of just chasing down the demon, William Afton, and spending eternity enacting revenge. But that all leads to the question, who is this vengeful spirit?
Golden
the
Freddy.
one William
It's gotta
should not
be.
have killed. Well, it's Golden Freddy. For proof, look no further than the final cutscene of the game. If you manage to get the nearly impossible score of 9,800, 49 animatronics at full difficulty, you see Golden Freddy in his FNAF 1 form twitching.
Tweaking out.
He's twitching just like Springtrap did in the trailers to FNAF 3. Someone else who refused to give up, to pass on. Someone who always comes back. And just to dispel any confusion here, Golden Freddy isn't the crying child. This confirms it. Golden Freddy is actually a victim that we've never actually seen outside of the FNAF 3 minigames, nor will ever see outside of that face in the vent. But more on that next video, that final timeline episode I got cooking up. If you want to make sure that you see it, hit subscribe now, that way you don't miss it, because seriously, that is the one that wraps everything up. If there was ever a time to subscribe, now is that time. But anyway, Golden
do that to me
Freddy
too. Now is that time so you can see my reaction to it.
What?
Who said that?
Let go of his hate, his rage. We even hear it in his line. He tried to release us, but I'm not gonna let that happen. No matter how many times they burn us. In FNAF 3, the puppet tried to release everyone through the Happiest Day minigame. Fazbear Fright was burned down in an attempt to cleanse Freddy's. Pizzeria Simulator was burned to the ground. None of it has worked. The spirit of revenge is and always will be there until he chooses to let go. That's why he's still twitching as he fades into the darkness. That's why his eyes are still white as he disappears. He is choosing to remain here, to continue tormenting William, to ignore Old Man Consequences, encouraging him to move on to the next life. You know,
so you're saying he ignored it.
Scott truly meant when he said that 50-20 mode in this game was impossible. Not just that it would be unbelievably difficult to overcome, which, let's face it, it is, but that there's no victory here. That no matter how good of a player you are, there is no winning this game because there is no escape. That even if you play it perfectly, William is trapped, and there is no happy ending for Golden Freddy. In fact, you playing the game is continuing Golden Freddy's cycle of revenge. Old Man Consequence's message might be for Golden Freddy. Absolutely, rest your soul. There is nothing else, but it's also probably directed at us. I mean, we play and play and play this game for hours upon hours upon hours, achieving higher and higher and higher stats. That's incredibly difficult, and what do we get from it? A cutscene that's kind of underwhelming, actually. Perhaps Old Man Consequence's message was for Golden Freddy, sure, but also for us. Rest your own soul. There is nothing else. There is no deeper ending here. There is no satisfaction. This is it. And by choosing to play, we keep William's cycle of torment alive. We are literally Golden Freddy forcing William through this over and over and over again, refusing to move on, refusing to accept that there is nothing else. It's perhaps the most satisfying, unsatisfying conclusion in all of gaming. And as far as
every time you go through a game,
character decisions, well, it doesn't get any more.
It's almost like, you're giving the players finally giving the purple guy what he deserves.
You are Golden Freddy. Next week,
you are.
Grand conclusion as I break down literally everything else in this game and all the other games and the books as we try to piece together one mega final timeline. I told Stephanie the other day that I was reworking the FNAF timeline. She's like, what is this, like the 80th time? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So place your bets now as to where you think the events are gonna fall. Make sure you subscribe so you're notified of the new video. And most importantly of all, remember, that's just a theory.
Oh my God.
Game theory.
Thanks for watching.
Proving me right for a change, Scott.
Oh. Proving me right? Oh, he just went after Scott. Scott, return that roast with another story to drive our minds insane. Yep, Matt Pat's theories, man. I'll tell you, it's Matt Pat's theories. I always get you thinking. So, if you're wondering why every single, interval of 5 seconds that I kept doing that, there's an annoying fly in my room that will not leave me alone. So I've been trying to kill it. So I'm sorry for how many times I'm gonna have to mute out that so it doesn't interrupt the video. And I'm sorry that I knocked off my headphone at one point, but whatever. Anyway, guys, if you guys like this reaction videos, you guys hit the like button, comment, subscribe for more quick history today. If you guys want to see more reaction videos, you guys hit the like button, hit the bell, turn on notifications, subscribe to Matt Pat. Peace out.